I am live. I'm live and well. I'm upside down. Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to do it like this. Mm. Hello, guys. Hello, everybody. Can I enter from two different screen? I don't think so. Maybe I should just do it from my phone. Hi, guys. Hi, this is your teacher friend Simone. I see one person on. This is Simone here today. Just trying to do a live. As you can see, I am trying to do just a live about um, working in UAE as um, I love you, Moisha. Girl, you're gonna be my best friend. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much for joining. Um, Thank you, Moisha. Thank you so much. I am trying to go on this on my laptop also so I can see what's happening. I am trying to the feedback is ridiculous. To go on this on my laptop also. I think I mute myself. Okay, guys. Hi, Moisha. Hi, Gonsha. Hey there. I'm coming to UAE. Oh, welcome. I must say to you, Gonsha, congratulations. Um, I'm coming to UAE day after I wanted to submit applications in school. Oh, how often does that work? Are there any walk-in interviews for Indians? Okay, hi Gunsha. I will say to you definitely when welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, anywhere you are in the world. Different time zones for different people. So let me just start off by saying welcome and thank you for joining me. I'm really thankful. I'm grateful for those of you who decided to join my live at this time. While we chit chat about, I'm still trying to fix this camera. While we chit chat about working in UAE on a whole and some of the things that we can expect. All right. So, um, Gunsha is asking, hi, Chanel. Thank you, my love. So Gunsha is asking about coming to UAE. Definitely remember, as I always say, it's recruiting season. So therefore, you can come at any point in time. Um, you can come. Thank you. I'm so pleased that my video have been, impacting your decision, Gunsha. The thing is, you definitely can come to UAE at this time. There are so many schools that are hiring and they are in need of teachers. So you being there, it will definitely increase your chances of getting a job. You just walk in, and there are schools that are doing walk-in interviews. You might have some of them that are still doing it, and if you walk in and you drop off your not interview, drop off your CV in person, and just ask the schools I don't know exactly where you would like to go because, as I said, UAE is pretty big, and the schools are spread across UAE. So, so depending on where you definitely want to go, if you want to go in Abu Dhabi city, where are you thinking about going, Gansha? In the city, Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, where do you, what are your plans? Because you have to sit down when you get here or before you can map an area. I don't know if you're going to get a vehicle when you come here, or is it a case where you're going to have somebody, if you may have a friend that can take you around. So Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Sharjah. Okay. All right. So those three Emirates. Okay. And Dubai is very pretty close. Dubai is next door to Sharjah. So getting there is would definitely not be a problem. But yeah, just try to. I'm coming to UAE on the tourist visa for 10 days. Oh, 10 days. Why is it 10 days? They they have a month. Why? Okay. Well, in fact, what you can do during those 10 days, you come and you just go right out in the schools, drop off. When you do drop off your CVs, also, what you can do, you can call them. So you drop it off today. You can call them within 2 days, just to confirm that they have received your CV and you would like to know if they're still, looking for teachers, or if you can come by, if there is an opportunity for them to interview you. And remember, as I have stated before, even if the interview, you might not hear from them now, don't be daunted. Just put your CVs out there. And believe you me, I've said it over and over, and I will not stop stressing it. UAE recruits throughout the entire year. All right. And I have teachers that can attest to that. Chanel is here. She can attest to that. You can get a job in September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. All right. So I'm already reaching in school. Oh, you're teaching already. Okay. So you don't have any leave. So you're just taking a few days to come. Okay. I understand. No problem. Come along. Come along, go to the schools. Let me tell you, in Abu Dhabi, if you go to Mohammed bin Zayed city area, there are some schools there that employ Indian teachers. There's Bright Riders. If you send me a message on Instagram, I might be able to give you a name of 2 or 3 schools that I know specifically that are in Abu Dhabi, in Mohammed bin Zayed city area, that they do recruit Indian teachers. So, you can try your luck at those 2 schools. I don't know if they need teachers. I can't say specifically that you will be hired, but I know they recruit Indian teachers. They have a large population of Indian students. And so the possibility, and maybe they are still recruiting. All right. So you can do that. And yeah, just drop me a message on Instagram and I will look. I'll help you out. I'll look and give you some specific schools that you can go to directly. All right. And I want to talk about today some interview questions. Just give you a little bit of pointer, not just questions, but what are some of the things that you need to expect? I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to family, and I that's something that I want to talk about today. Dorina, hi Dorina, welcome to my live. I am in Abu Dhabi, done with coming finance. Can I apply for teaching or non-teaching roles? I was teaching as part-time teacher for 2 years. Please guide me. At present, I am working for FAB. Oh, that's my bank, FAB. That's my bank. Hi, Ken Loy. Thank you for joining again, Ken Loy. What's your Instagram name? Okay, Maisha, I will. It's Sims to you 101. Sims to you 101. I think it's on my page though. If you go directly on my page and the banner at the top, you'll see my Facebook. You'll see it says Facebook, and you'll also see it says Instagram. If you click on any one of them, it take you directly to my Instagram page or my Facebook page. Okay, Moisha, I'll definitely do that. So, hi, Dorina. Um, uh, it's the Insta, my IG. SimStay 101. So I think it will be at SimStay 101. SimStay 101. Um, so whatever, when you try to oh, I put a comma instead of another dot. So it seems to you 101 on my IG page. As I was saying before, Dorina, it's a possibility that you have to just try to broaden your horizons when it regards to teaching. The schools, I'm going to be honest with you, they normally look specifically because UAE has, clamped down on the recruitment and the qualifications that are needed for someone to be in the classroom. So they are very particular or peculiar, or they are very strict with your degree, your qualification. So it's mandatory that you have a degree. It's mandatory that you have a degree. I'll do that, Guncha. I'll do that when I'm finished, okay? Um, it's mandatory for you to have a first degree to become a teacher in any field. So if you are an English teacher, you have a first degree in English. If you are a primary teacher, it's the same thing. It's a plus if you have a master's, but most schools don't pay you for your master's unless you are going into a leadership position, and it will also help to matriculate your chances in becoming a leader. All right. But it's important that you have a degree in the specifics. So English, math, physical education, science. As for me, I'm an elementary teacher. If also you are an early childhood teacher, your first degree should be in early childhood, a KG teacher, early childhood. Another thing that you want to make sure, so I don't know your qualifications, Donna. Is it Donna or Donna? Dorina. In regards to your qualifications, but you said you have worked for 2 years. You can try using that experience. It can give you an opportunity to become a TA. You can try getting a TA in a school, but I don't know. I don't know the job that you're doing at FAB. If a TA job would basically pay you more than that you're getting at as an employer with the bank with FAB. But you can try. You can look into that, and you can try to apply. And you just never know. You have schools. Trust me, when they are desperate. You also have some institutions. You have some early childhood institutions that are run separately from the regular schools. So these institutions are like daycare, but they literally operate like a school with I know TAs that have literally left TA jobs and gone into those institutions because I guess probably it's less demanding, and they are able to. Some of them were teachers in Philippines, and they come over UAE and they become TAs and they get experience in the classroom, and then they move over and they start working in a daycare or something like that, and it helps. You can try along that field. I've seen on Facebook advertisements for persons to work in daycare. So the opportunities, as I said, I always try to tell people that don't be afraid of Google. Let Google be your friend. anything that you want to learn about UAE and you type that into Google search engine, you will see a plethora of information that will, to guide you, to tell you what to do, give you schools. The only thing I will say to you is just make sure that any school that makes contact with you, any HR, as long as they're not asking you to pay any money, you're good to go. But the moment somebody tells you, oh, you need to pay for registration, or you need to pay for your visa, you need to pay for your, no, that's a red flag. Those are little red flags that you need to look for. Schools in UAE hire HR personnel to do those things. And if you weren't recruited by a recruiting company and you go on the school's website and you get your job, don't worry, you will still be able to get a job without the school. HR will do the work and they won't be asking you to pay out any money. Starting salary for a KG teacher in Sharjah. Okay, let me tell you something. Different Emirates pay different money. Remember, as I've said before, that the schools, there are no set salary when it comes on to the schools and where they give. The certain school, Sharjah Emirate it's cheaper in terms of lifestyle. Renting is cheaper in Sharjah, so therefore their salaries might not be as high as a Dubai school, or maybe a school in Abu Dhabi. And I will stress on this also, Gunsha, not to burst your bubble, but you also have to take into consideration nationality. It's a big thing when it comes on to your salary. So they will look at your nationality and determine what they'll pay you. So you can be working at a school with someone from, say, England. You have the same qualification, the same experience, the same years of experience, same qualification, everything. However, that teacher might be getting a higher salary than you, and it's just because of your nationality. All right, that's something that you have to face. But I don't think, to be honest with you, as a teacher with qualification and years of experience, I would say to you that you should not be taking anything less than, I really don't know the Indian salaries, because you'd have to try to convert it to your Indian, what is it, rupees, to know if it's something that is manageable. So maybe for you in Sharjah, don't go under 6,000. I'm not sure. I've read a lot of persons in, like in India's, that would talk about salary and how much it is in their currency back home, the rupee. So if you can compare that, but don't go under 6,000. Don't go under 6,000. You have schools that is offering 6,000 to teachers, which is little. It's little for somebody from the Western like me. But maybe it's not a small amount for you back in your country, and it's something that you can live on. So, I'm not going to say to you that don't take a salary that is giving you 6,000 dirhams, because it's different. Your currency conversion and what you're able to live on. So think about 6,000 dirhams. Try to calculate that in your Indian rupee and see if it's something that you are able to live on. Are you able to live in Sharjah for that and still maybe support your family? I'm not sure your dynamics, what it is like, but do those little calculations and see if it can work for you. But don't go below that. I think, sometimes we should not just limit ourselves, to be honest. Don't limit yourself to your nationality and say, oh, because I'm an Indian. I see people do it a lot. Say, when I look on Facebook, some groups, persons are saying, oh, you're lucky to be getting 6,000. Indians are getting 3,000. And why should you subject yourself to that? If you have a qualification and your experience, aim high. Don't settle for a little. Don't settle for a little, because rent is expensive, not to mention if you are not getting somewhere to rent. So look for the salary plus benefits. You can get $6,000 and be comfortable, but make sure it's $6,000 dirhams plus accommodation and transportation to and from school, plus your flights, but not 6,000 and you have to pay those things out of pocket. If that is the case, you're not going to be left with a lot of spending power. All right. So you have to think about those things. Accommodation, a part of your salary. Try not to get a job that tells you that the accommodation is in your salary. Try to get a job that says this is your salary plus school's accommodation. If it is giving you for you now as a starter, if it's giving you your if it's gonna put housing in your salary, make sure it's above 10,000 dirhams because rent is expensive. To be honest with you, you're not gonna find a decent place to live with for less than 3,000 dirhams per month, unless you're gonna be sharing with somebody, doing bed space, or sharing two persons living a studio or a one bedroom. And if you want to live comfortable, you want to make sure that your job can afford you to live comfortable. So try not to take anything that starts up with less than 10,000 if it includes housing or accommodation money, housing allowance. All right. If they ask me to get a rented place within that salary. Yeah, just look. If they're giving you in your salary, make sure it's a lot. If it's a small salary, it's small salary plus accommodation. So they will give you accommodation, give you your flight, and give you, your other allowance like your insurance, etc. But if not, and they are giving you, and they are going to give you housing, make sure your salary is a lot, 10,000 and more. For me, for housing, my last job, let me be honest, my last job that I was working in Abu Dhabi, my school gave me 4,500 per month towards housing, but that was in the salary because they put everything together. So you will probably get a job, say 15,000 dirhams, 15,000. And 15,000, out of that 15,000, they'll give that to a Westerner. Out of that 15,000, they will tell you, because they'll break it down, because they're going to tell you what your housing allowance is. Like my job, they'll pay me 15,000 and 4,500 out of that was for housing, and 500 out of that per month went towards my flight, because they didn't give me flight. So 5,000 out of the 15,000 was allowance. The next 10,000 was my salary. No, I had to think. I was in a desperate position. I had to think. No, so okay then. This is towards my housing, so I need to find something that is cheaper than the 4,500. So I rented a studio, and the studio was for 32,000, 35,000 for the year, or 38. So basically, I was paying to add to my salary. I took somewhere that was less than 4,500 per month. So you have to sit down and work out those little dynamics if you are given an offer, and try to do things like that. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure you have enough money in your pocket to suffice, especially if you have families that you are taking care of. So that's another thing that you can think about. All right. Any other questions in regards to salary and housing? One of the best things to look for is. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Rejection letters from IB schools already. Don't worry. Don't be daunted. Don't worry. I've sent out applications, did interviews, and don't hear. It's just, that's a market. That's how it goes. But you just have to not to just have that mindset that I will not give up. Have that mindset that that job is out there for you. don't give up. Always try. And you will definitely find that job that you're looking for. And, try to ace those interviews when you get that opportunity. Think about it. Google, go on YouTube. Whenever I'm doing an interview, it doesn't matter how old am I. If I get a job tomorrow, I am going to research job teacher interview question and answers, and I'm going to sit down and I'll write them out and I'll rehearse them, because nothing is set in stone and you can never be too prepared. You can never be too prepared when it comes on to preparing yourself for an interview. It's better to be over prepared than under prepared. You relax, you get in that interview, and just let things flow. Let things flow. I will definitely keep you in my prayers, Concha. Um, so let me speak about I think maybe I'll keep on giving feedback based on some questions that I see asking. So I just want to address some things in regards to UAE and coming here as a Westerner. What are some of the things to expect? Things that persons, might be still feeling a little uncomfortable or unsure about. Don't be daunted. Try not to worry. Just have an open mind. Just have an open mind when you get here. And when I said open mind, there's nothing that is going to shock you. To be honest, there is nothing that is going to blow your mind away. There's nothing that is going to happen that will shock you to say, what did I get myself into? You're going to be seeing people, normal people going about their daily life. People just like you. The population in UAE, remember now, it's a population of over 9 million, right? And 90% of that population, is it 90% or more than 90% of that population is expats? Remember now that majority of the people that lives in United Arab Emirates are expats. The expat population is over 90%. So you just imagine that it's just a minimum amount of locals. So, you don't have anything to worry about. What's the currency they pay you in Dubai? Oh, they pay us in dirhams. Where's my purse? I do have some dirhams here. They pay us in dirhams. That's a currency. That's what it is called. And my purse is somewhere. It's far away from me. It's called dirhams. Hi, India. Hi, India. How are you doing? The dirhams. It's a very strong currency. It's a very strong currency, and you are able. What they do over here, and we tend to have a lot of problem with this. In UAE, I'm doing so good, India. Thank you so much for joining my live. Bless you, sister. Bless you. Thank you, Tarina. Thank you for joining, my love. With the dirhams, how they pay, some of us were coming from countries where they give us a salary slip and everything is written. They don't do that over here. What they do, you just, at the moment you arrive here and you start working and you get your ID, you have to open a bank account. Also, many schools there, when you start working, a lot of schools will approach you, not schools, banks will approach new staff, and because it's a competition for them to open. And trust me, also, let me tell you, credit card and loans, they will offer it to you. They will, and it is very tempting. But we know it's very tempting, and not telling you that you shouldn't take it, but it's tempting, but wait until after a little while, after working, then you decide, if my salary can suffice my loan back home and my family before you take out a big loan or a credit card. Try not to run those credit cards. They will wreck you. So just be careful. Hi Lucy. So what they do here is when you start working here, you will have to open a bank account and your salary is deposited in your bank account every month. So you don't really get a pay slip. Um, it's a direct deposit into your bank account, and you just you have your bank cards. The banks also will offer you credit cards and all of that. And I will say to you that those credit cards, guys, the loans over here, everybody that I know takes a loan. You know why? Because it's very affordable in terms of the interest rate, and they are very big on business and marketing. So these banks will offer you loan left, right, and center. But so if you have a goal to accomplish back home and you get the opportunity, why not? I did. I had to, and trust me, it has helped me a lot. But as I said, not when you just come. Try to test the waters and see and make sure whatever you take, you are able to sustain it. And you budget your money and you spend wisely. And it's living in UAE. It's very manageable. The cost of living, especially if you're working in a school that gives you accommodation. Hi Omari. Hi, thank you for joining, Omari. Um, Thank you, Tarina. Yes, some schools have portals, like our current school that we were in, Tarina. Yes, it has a school portal where all your information is on as an individual. You can go in there and you can download and you can print your payslip. Some school doesn't. Some schools you have to go directly to the HR and ask them. If you're doing business, especially back home, especially for Jamaican, they always ask us to show proof. They want to see our pay slips, and some schools don't have, and they will tell you that they don't have a pay slip. But you have to request something from your HR, and the HR probably just print out a salary. They call it a salary certificate, because some schools do not have a portal like our schools that Tarina and I taught in. They have a portal that you can go in and you can find your salary certificate. Other schools, you have to approach accountant or the HR specifically, and they will just provide you with a salary certificate that states that you are working in this school, and it will outline your monthly salary. It will say that your monthly salary is 10,000, 11, whatever it is. All right, and you can use that as a proof of your monthly income. All right. Also, you want to. I was saying something and it slipped me in regards to in in regards to salary. But as I said before, the banks, your salary is directly deposited. It's a must that you have to open a bank account with a bank. Some schools have banks that they deal with. When I first came to UAE, our school sent us to a specific bank, which was Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank. It's called Adib. That's the bank that they do with. But if you were there before and you have another account somewhere else, they don't have a problem. But us as new teachers, they send us specifically to that bank. Then you get your salary there. When I left that school and I went to another school, I kept that account. I still have that account to this day, although I switched bank. So I have two bank accounts. I just keep the other one open and I save in that one. And my new school that I'm currently at, my salary goes to this salaried account bank. So, but it's your choice. Open a bank account, and if you have a bank account, the school will just direct it. You just give the school information, IBAN number, account number, and they do the deposit into your account. When do you go back to work? How's your summer break? There, it is wonderful. It is wonderful. I'm enjoying home. I haven't gone out so much so far because my sister is still working, but she's off. And but I've been to a few places, And starting this weekend, it's when my holiday is literally going to be taken off. But I'm good. I like being home, to be honest. It's different. I'm in UAE and I would be like locked up in my apartment right now, or maybe traveling. But being back home in Jamaica for the summer, it's good. If you just sit down on my veranda and feel the cool breeze and not the heat of UAE, it's awesome. And just being around family, it's, get up and walk out and all of that. School begins for us on the 22nd for teachers. So August 22nd is when teachers are going to start, and the students are coming in on the 29th of August. So we still have basically one more month, 3 weeks. We still have 3 weeks before we go back into the free paper burn, as we call it in Jamaica. Yeah, but we still, American school has started, so we still have a good little time to enjoy your break. Thank you, India. Thank you. Yeah, we all deserve it. It doesn't even matter what work you're doing. Everybody, we all deserve a break sometimes. And as a teacher, a lot of people always talk about our holidays, and we get a lot of holiday. I am telling you, to be in a classroom, who feels it knows it is a lot. It is a lot. Sometimes I say, a regular job, when you leave that work, when you clock out at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock, that work is done until the next morning. Teachers, no, we're still working. Lesson planning, deadlines to meet, curriculum. And hi, Leighton, thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. We still have a lot of work to do after school. So, sometimes our job is not 24 hours, but a lot. So, when you get to UAE, as I was saying before, if you have families and you're coming with your family, come on down. A question that somebody asked me the other day, is it true that you can't, as a female, you can't go into the barber salon with your child because she has a son? What do I know? I have a son, and every time I go into the barber salon with him, and let me say, it took me a while to actually find a proper barber, and it depends on where you are, because for our kids, you need a black barber to cut their hair decent and properly. I even gone to the point where I bought shear myself and used to cut his hair. It's like, Mommy, please don't cut my hair. Mom, I want to go to the barber, but what am I supposed to do if I'm in a situation where his hair needs to cut and there's no decent barber? There's no decent barber around. I gotta just, I gotta do what I gotta do. But as females, you can. I've gone to the barber with my child, and especially if it's a black barber shop. You can go in, sit with your child. It's not, the country is not what some persons are thinking. You don't have anything to fear. They don't separate males from females like that in the general public. No, 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 no. It is definitely not like that. You do what is required of you as a mom. Tarina, don't even talk about where I live now. Up until now, I don't even know where to take my child to barber up there in the Western region. Whenever I go to the city, that's the time when Jaquan here gets cut. How often that is, Lord of mercy. Yes, 2.5 hour drive for me to get my child a haircut now, because I moved from out of the city. It's a task and a half, but he's fine. He's fine. And we tend, whenever we take a trip to the city, I just know that he has to go to the barber. But it is just life. You literally learn. You learn as you go. There's nothing that is set in stone. You will just have to be creative. You have to apply yourself as problems arise. You just No, yeah, the barbers don't cut female hair. It's just for yes, thank you, Tarina. It's just for males. So the barbers cut male hair, and the females, you have to go to your female salon. Yes, you can, as I'm saying. No, what she was asking me, she has a son, and she was saying that she heard that you cannot sit in the salon with your child. So it's I've told her it's not like that, because I've even gone into Indian men's salon, and I sit in there because my child, I'm not gonna sit outside in the heat or leave him. I leave him at the black barber because I trust them. They'll cut his hair properly. So now his current barber that is in Abu Dhabi City, there's some Nigerians. When I go there, we just drop him off because there's always a long line. So I drop him off, and then we leave, and then we go to the mall. My friend Trudy and I, we go to the mall, and then he called me and he's like, Mom, I'm finished. And then we go to pick him up. I can trust them to cut his hair properly. But when I used to go to the Indians, oh no, I had to sit there and say, okay, I need zero point 0.5, because you have to tell them the share to use, and you have to say you want it. Show them the picture. Can I get it like this? It's a task. It's a task and a half, and they still don't know really how to do it. So you can't blame them. They're not used to, our type of hair. So you have to make sure that you find somebody that you can trust, and somebody who can does that properly. Even for us as females, too, as black females, that is why I thank God for wigs. They come in very handy if you're living in an area where there's nobody to do your hair. um, you have to find somebody to get your hair done. Thank you, Marlon, to get your hair done. Same, 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 same. You have to find somebody to get your hair done. Hopefully, there's a Nigerian or some African lady in your community that you can get your hair braided. Because you really do have to find a black salon to get your hair. There are many, I'm not disputing the fact. There are so many. You have lots of choices, but they are in the city. If when you're living outside of the city, that's where the struggles come in. But as long as you're in the city, my loves, oh, you get everything done. The hair, the nails, everything. Everything is at your disposal as a black person. But when you go out of the city, that's where the struggle comes in. Hopefully you can see someone around that looks like you, that knows how to take care of um or hair. hmm but apart from that, everything else is fine. Grocery shopping, it's fine. Getting your food when you go to the supermarkets, and getting your food. Yes, Terina, I know you're gonna love it. Getting back into the city. Oh my word. That's one thing that, when you're in the city and you get out, you really miss the comfort of everything that is at your fingertip. You miss it. But sometimes, we make sacrifices for ourselves, and we make sacrifices for our families, and you move to the work, and you move not just for yourself, but the benefits that the job is offering you, and all of that. Those are things that, those are driving factors, those are pull factors to certain jobs. But sometimes you just got to make some of the sacrifice. It's not forever, but you know what you want. You have a goal. You have to have a goal. And as long as you have your goal, you have that willpower to know that I can withstand everything. Hey, I must say to you guys, and some persons that are get some jobs in the MOE, there are some areas that they might send you to that are very out. Benefits and blessings, yes, that are on the outskirts. That might be, you might get some jobs that are in some areas that are really not developed, and you just have to have that open mind. When you get there, look around, see what is there, because you never know. The MOE schools, you don't know where they're going to put you. That's the thing. And but just pray and trust that they do put you somewhere where it's easy accessible. They do have some areas though that are very far and remote, and you just have to hopefully pray that you don't get there, or if you do get there, you can manage, see what it is like, look around, and just try to make the best of what is there. And if you're able to live with it, you can just get your experience. And yeah, the MOE or the ESC schools, yeah, because you don't know where they're going to send you. So that is something that a lot of persons tend to be scared about, because you don't know the geographical location. I'm not saying that the because when you're on the outskirts and you're far away from things and you're new, like me, I was living in the city, so I got used to what the city life is like. I spent 3 years in LA and 3 years in Abu Dhabi, and now I'm going to spend 3 years in the country, which is in the western region. So, which is, as I said, it's 2.5 hours away from Abu Dhabi city. So it's a long commute. But I'm used to, I've gotten the best of both worlds. So because of that, and I know what it's like out there, I'm okay. And I'm not a glitz and glamour partying type of girl. So for me, living in the Western region, I'm okay. School and home, that's me, and my television and supermarket when I need groceries, that's me. And when we do get holiday, then I go into the city and I meet up with friends and all of that. But I'm perfectly fine with that lifestyle. Some younger persons don't like that. They want to be in the city. And so they want those opportunity. So, but you never know. But not that the areas on the outskirts are anywhere where you have to say, oh my God, I can't live there. They are normally livable, unless it's Tarina. There's an area where I heard somebody says that it is past Ruiz. I don't remember the name, but I heard that there's a MOE school over that side, and it is way more remote than Ruiz area that we live in. And I'm like, but Ruiz is not. Ruiz is just far. It's a wonderful community. The housing are awesome. The community is very good, and yes, they have hotels there. They have gym, like they have gyms. They have sporting facilities for the kids. The area is green and luscious, and everything is there. It's just that the commute to get to the glitz and the glamour of the city is 2.5 hours. Silla, yes, Silla. I heard about this community that is called Silla, where there's one MOE school over there. And I think they say to get over there, you have to take a boat. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll journey over there and see what it is like. But I really don't know. But I hear that they say that it is very, 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 very remote. So those children, they are not exposed to anything but the desert. Because even our children, I have children in my class that they've not been, they don't go to the city. They just stay where they are at home, and they tend to visit Saudi. They tend to visit Saudi a lot. You will find, if you go into the remote areas, you'll find a lot of children that are not really exposed. Silla is under God foot. Yeah, seriously. Oh my gosh, yeah, it is. Yes, Ruiz is a very nice city to live in. It's just far out. Yes, Serena and I live next door to each other, and Tarina, and we were working at the same school. But she up and left me now. She's going back to the city. But it's a very wonderful community, as you said, Tarina. Awesome place. Layton says, what's the real difference between MOE schools and private schools? Oh, the MOE is government owned. It's MOE or ESC, which is Emirates Schools Establishment. That's a new name. They've changed their name so often. First, they were ADEC when I just came. It was ADEC, Abu Dhabi Education Council. Then they changed it to ADEK. I don't even remember what the K was for. Then they changed it to MOE. Now it's ESE, which is Emirates School Establishment. So those schools are the government-owned schools that only local children go to. Only local children goes to those schools. So they don't pay school fee, or the government gives them, certain information. Yes, I did do a video on the difference between MOE schools and private schools. Yeah, I did. So then the private schools, no, the private schools are private owned. So they are operated by individual persons who, build schools and operate them. And the children that goes there is a mix of different nationality, various nationalities. You have some schools which have nationalities from 70 something different nationalities. You have schools with 10, school with 20. So it's just a variation of mixed ability, mixed population students, as opposed to local students only go to MOE schools. But private and international schools, you do have locals go there, because you have locals that pays their money to send their children to private schools. Yes. Thank you, Leighton. So the local children, because like when I was in the Abu Dhabi city, I taught at a private school, and the private school had many local children. We had a population, a very mixed population. And I will say to you, remember, as I was stating before, that the population there is very mixed when it comes down to expat. So your children, they might be Arab children, but they're not local children. So they will speak into Arabic. They might be Egyptian, Jordanian, Lebanese, and other Arabic countries, Sudanese. They're from different countries that are Arabic speaking countries. So that's the thing when it comes down to the international or the private schools. Plus different expats like the Philippines, the Indians, Jamaicans, Americans, Canadian, British, and the list goes on. The list goes on. I mean, that country has population around a mix. So those students tend to go to the international schools or the private schools. All right. In regards to, let me see, there are no more questions as yet. In regards to, somebody asked me, like, the cost of living, is it expensive to live in UAE? No, it's not. It's very affordable. Things have changed. I will say to you, when I first got there, I could spend 100 dirhams and buy a whole cart of things. No, it's not like that anymore. Just like every economy right across the world, things have changed, things have escalated, and things are a little bit more expensive. However, it is way more affordable when you compare it to maybe your home or somewhere else. So like for me, on an average, when I go to the supermarket and I'm buying a lot of stuff, including when I put meat in my trolley, that's when my bill goes up. On an average per week, I go to supermarkets per week. But on an average, I will say I can spend anywhere like 100 US dollar, which is 360 dirhams. And that is literally getting me everything, snacks and juice for my child, and food stuff and fruits and vegetable and everything that you can think of, toiletries, etc. When I go to start buying like other bulky stuff, like, they sell a lot of things in bulk. And so that's a very good way to shop. Like your tissue and your soap, those things are selling bulk. So, you purchase those one time and they last you, depending on your family, last you for 2-3 months, etc. So when I am purchasing those stuff, I might spend going up to maybe 500 dirhams, which is like 150 US dollar on an average. Nothing more than that, unless I'm splurging. then I would probably spend more than that, which I don't often do. And food is cheap. When you go to the restaurant, KFC is a two-piece meal in KFC is 12 dirhams. And that is what, $2 US? Two? No, about $4 US. That's like 4 US. So things and their KFC tastes good, people. Let me tell you. Apart from Jamaica, UAE have one of the best KFC, and probably running Jamaican foot hot because Jamaican KFC is not really all that hot again, but let me not get into that. But the cost of living is pretty affordable, and you might get a job in some schools that your utility is being paid for. I've done that in a video. Some school package includes utilities, so you get your housing and you get utility. However, you have school packages that include housing, but you have to pay your utility. All right, so there's variation from school to school. All right, so those are some things that you have to take into consideration when it comes on to looking at the benefits that you're given from your school when you get a job offer. All right. I'm looking down at some notes that I have taken up, and somebody has asked me. Someone asked me, the last video that I had was, asking me some interview question. Do I know any? Thank you, Maisha. Um, Somebody asked me about some interview questions in the last video. I don't know if the person is on this live, but shoot, ask me anything that you would like to ask me. Because some persons are still looking jobs, some persons have gotten their job already and just looking on what it is like to come in. And close, people, let me tell you about shopping. I'm a shopaholic, I must say, and I will confess, and you will also be daunted, especially if you live in the city. And I will say that's one of the things that I am happy about living now in the Western region. I'm not living where the big malls are 10 minutes away, and I go there and I see and I'm just shopping, shopping, shopping. I used to do that so often. Now I can say, because I'm not in the city anymore. So that's something else that you have to take into consideration. You will spend your money out just like this when it comes on to UAE. You'll get it, and then it goes like this. It will blow away like the desert sand. So you have to be careful, especially when you're living in those cities, because everything is there at your fingertip, and everything in UAE is very easily accessible. Your telephone gets you everything. Everything. It's a country that is very technologically savvy, very savvy, very big on technology. Everything is at the tip of your finger on your phone. Yeah. Your bank account, you connecting with your bank, sending transfers, doing your purchases, everything. You tap your phone. Your card, you don't even have to use a card to swipe or to tap. You just use your phone and you tap your phone on that screen or somewhere, and and you'll be able to purchase something. Everything is on your phone. That phone that you have, every information is there, and things are easily accessible. And the sale, yes, Serena, the sales are always there. So nobody worry and say, oh, a sale is coming up and you have to shop. No, there's more coming. Don't worry. There is more coming. There is more sales coming left, right, and center. The Eids come up, the Christmas come up, all the different holidays come, and they always have sales. Mhm. Yes, they do. Some people provide transportation to and from work, and some accommodation is walking distance. So this will save you money too. Yeah. Yeah, so just don't be surprised when you come here, and it's good. It's good to know that some persons look at the country and think that you're not going to be able to have the glitz and the glamour, or you're not going to be able to do. No, everything that is in the United States of America, or England, or Canada, it's right here in United Arab Emirates. Every style, every cut, and stitch, and all the styles, and all the brands, every brand that you can think of, it is right here in UAE. The malls have them. Remember, UAE and Dubai is known for the biggest and the largest of everything. And yes, they do. They always try to outdo other people and other countries, because that's their name. They have their name for that. So just think of that. The biggest mall. Mhm. It is here. Yes, Serena, schools, yes. And that is in one of my videos. That's a very good, when you get a school that provides you with accommodation and they do the transportation, it's a big savings for you. So just think about that too. Those are things that I always try to encourage people to do. Look, when you get your contract, or if you do an interview, or when you're researching a job, look for those benefits. When you go on some websites, they'll show you the benefits that the school gives. And you want to look for those. Look for the housing. Look for the transportation to and from school. Look for flights. Those things are key. Insurance is a must. I don't know of any school that doesn't give you insurance, because it's a requirement by law for your employer to give you insurance. All right. Unless you're self-employed and you do your own insurance. However, that's a must from any given school. But those three additives: the accommodation, your flight, and furnished, because some schools will give you accommodation and it's not furnished, and some schools will give you a furnished accommodation. But you want to look for those things, and those are some key things that it's a pull factor to that job. If a job offers you those things, it is something that you said, yes, I can do this. This job, it looks very lucrative. It looks like something that I can work with, because you have a better spending power. You're able to save more. The opportunities are countless when you get those. But if you have to be spending those out of your salary, there's not much you can do. So the savings, you're decreasing your chances of savings and achieving certain things will definitely decrease. um Yes, yes, my dear friends. I'm gonna point out. I'm just gonna mention some, for those who are still looking and doing interview. Those are the perks to any job offer. Yes, Maisha, definitely the perks. You want that. And if you're getting that, it's definitely a plus and something that will drive you to that job. Um, if it doesn't, but the package is big, you can try to say, okay, I can work with this and I can do this. And then you see, sometimes we want that experience. If it's a big salary package and they give you the housing separately, the housing allowance, and you see where you can still work and save, it's fine. You just have to look at what the school is offering, and how that suits you and your monthly expense, or can that suffice for you and your way of life? And then you can work with it. Because I've gotten the best of both worlds. I have gotten the best of both worlds. So, I'm able to basically say what it is like working in and getting an accommodation versus getting the housing allowance. And I've done both. And I will say to you, I always encourage people getting the housing. Whew, it definitely takes a load off you. It does. It takes a load off you, because some schools don't even find housing for you. You have to search for it. While others will help you or give you suggestions of where you can find housing. Like my other school, what they did was, so when I started, they sent me. So my previous school, they because they don't give housing, they just give the allowance. So there's this guy, maintenance. He works with he's what he does when he gets your number. So he'll send you different areas or housing, gives you where you can where you can find housing or where you can live in. Now it's upon you. The onus is on you to go to those places and look to see if it's suitable for you. And if it's not, you just gotta keep searching. I searched for a long time before I found something, and then I still had to move. Anyway, it's a long story. But getting a school's accommodation is one of the greatest thing that you and some schools do sharing. Some schools give you sharing accommodation where you might be sharing kitchen. You might be living in that space where you're sharing kitchen or other living area space. And some it will just you have your own. You have my first school when I just got here in UAE. All of us had our own apartment. It was a studio type. It was a studio apartment. So you have your own kitchenette, the bathroom, and um, bedroom slash living room. But it was well furnished though, even with television. Madara, and I will call the school and I can tell you guys, you can try applying for that school for anybody who's looking job. It's in a lane. They employ Jamaican teachers. Yes, it's called Madar International School. It's in a lane. They employ Jamaican teachers because they employ quite a few of us straight out of yard, straight out of Jamaica. And they have their own school accommodation and they give you flights and they yearly flights unless it's changed. And they also have school bus. They provide you with transportation to and from school. It's in a lane. Very nice school. Management has changed, but I think they still have those policies as benefits for teachers. All right. And if you're getting that, if you're getting all of that, with I think their salary though starts off at 11,000. I don't know if they have increased it, but that's the salary that I got when I started. When I left Jamaica, that's the salary that they gave me at the start, and plus everything else. A furnished accommodation, big king size bed, yes, nice sofa, tables, closets, everything, well furnished kitchen also, everything. They have a beautiful, the accommodation is very nice. If you Google the school also, you will see the accommodation. They'll show you other accommodation, the teachers' accommodation on their website. Not on their website, maybe somewhere in Google. Because I had Googled it when I got the job to really see if what they're saying is true. I Googled it myself and I saw it. And they have a wonderful accommodation. Yeah. Hi, Future. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Let me just point out, as I was saying, I was going to mention some interview stuff, interview questions. Should I do that on another live? No, maybe not. Interview question. One interview question I'm going to ask you. I'm going to mention the first question that they always ask you when you start an interview is to introduce yourself. I did a video on it, but I think I'm just not gonna. I'll just do it on the live. So property finder on a blog that it is great and reliable. I'm using it now and even sharing with others. Oh, okay. So you're searching for somewhere, Moisha? Yeah, property finder and is it debut? DEBUT. They do housing too. Yeah, they're not bad. The property finders over here, the housing, they are a lot. And when you go online and you start searching for house, you will definitely see a lot. That you can choose from. There are so many. There are villas, and there are apartments. The house Bayut, yes. Yes, Bayut and Property Finder. Yes. Thank you, Maisha. You are in the know, you know. You go, girl. Have you found a place as yet, Maisha? Because I know you're going with MOE and you have to find your own accommodation. Have you found somewhere lookable, doable as yet? Um, but you will find villas. Let me tell you. Oh, let me tell you with UAE and villas. Villas. Villas are owned by the locals. Many villas are chopped up. I've lived in villas. That school that I was where I had to rent, I was living in villa. Two villas I lived in, two villas. For I worked at a school for 3 years and I lived in two villas, yes. First I was living in Shakbout City, then I started living in Mohammed bin Zayed City. The villas people, you have some villas that is one on the property. And you also have some villas that is like there is like a whole lot, and there is maybe four different villas on that property. And when I said villa, people UAE houses are very big, and they don't even say house, villas. They're big, and when they're local owned, they are big. And so those villas, let me inform you, if you are not somebody that likes to live with different people, bear that in mind. Let me tell you, Moisha, bear that in mind when it comes down to villas. Villas have people from all different nationality. And in those villas, so they'll chop them up. Let me tell you how these villas operate. When I say chop up, I mean rooms. So in those villa, they will have, so you'll have, say for example, one big building. Say, let me take one of the building. It's big, upstairs and downstairs, maybe 2 floors or 3 floors. And you might have 4 different rooms on each floor or 5 different, depending on how big it is. And so you have your own studio. So you have one door here, and you pull your door, you might have number 1. So you have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, etc. on the different floors. And you go in and you have your apartment. You might, and oftentimes it's a studio. When you're living in a villa, oftentimes it is a studio apartment that is in the villa. As I'm telling you, I've been there and it was a studio. There are studios. You don't really find a lot of one bedroom apartments in studios. Hi, Georgia. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining my live, dear. The studio apartments in the villas, you will have other people living around. Some of them, when you enter, there's a big open space, which is like a hall. And then you have the different rooms. And so bear in mind, if you're somebody that don't like to be living in it, and outside you'll have hundreds of cars depending on how many persons living in that villa. All right. But you have a lot of apartment complex. I would definitely say that living in an apartment complex is way better than living in a villa. Because when you live in a villa, you have to think about not everybody like you is clean and well kept. I'm going to be straightforward. You have persons, if you are a clean and well kept persons, a well kept individual, that you have your nice mat and you go in. You have persons that are not like that. You have persons that when you look outside, you see the clothesline. You go into your villa and you're passing the clothes on the side, and a lot of shoes line up on and bicycles and all sort of things. Just remember, different nationalities are different, and their lifestyle or their way of life is different from you. So I would encourage someone, if you have to rent, somewhere, try to get one of those apartment complexes where you can get a 1-bedroom type of living rather than some of those villa. No, Ken Loy, not no, Ken Loy. not US dollar. Remember, I told you, Ken Loy, we get paid in dirhams. Dirhams, UAE dirhams. AED, AED. Um, so if you want to calculate like a US salary, you just think about anywhere between 3,000 to top of a 4,000 salary, US dollar. However, let me tell you, when you compare UAE to US salary, it's pretty much the same that a teacher is getting in US. However, the perks and the difference with teaching in UAE is that the UAE jobs, you don't have any tax to pay. You also don't have you don't have to worry about your housing. So in US, like you get a job in North Carolina, you have the state tax and there are two taxes, state tax and there's another tax. I don't remember what it is. State and government, don't remember. Then you have to pay your rent and your utility and the list goes on. In UAE, you get your salary and your salary is yours. There is no tax except the little VAT now that you only pay when you're purchasing something. There is no tax that is drawn out of your salary. So your salary is tax free. If you get a job that gives you accommodation, you don't have to think, oh my word, let me budget now. 1,000 dirhams or 2 or 5,000 is my rent. So you have to take this out of your rent. So if you're getting a job that pays you 11,000 and you get accommodation, you don't have to worry about the rent and all of that. Okay, Ken Loy, you can just average on an average, say your monthly expenditure is anywhere between 3,000 or more. 3,000. You just work out your dynamics in terms of your spending power. What is your go when you go to the supermarket and you see what it is that you like, how you're going to spend and all of that. Then there's one bill that is mandatory that you have to pay in UAE, and that is your phone. When you take out your plan on your phone, that is a mandatory bill because that's your social life. So your internet and your phone, your phone and your cable, those three comes together. It's Etisalat or Due, but the main one is Etisalat. That's your phone company or internet company. They'll come to your house, do the wiring, and give you your internet box. That's for your home internet. That's your, a mandatory bill that if you definitely need internet in your home. So that's basically your main expense, as separate from your eating. You don't have, your eating and your regular social spending, but there is no definite bills. Some schools, as I said before, some schools, if they give you housing, you might have to pay your own utility, while some doesn't. Your utility and your housing, all of that is covered by the school. All right, Ken Loy, not 11,000 US though. I mean, everybody arena, we need a left. What is that? Okay. So yeah, and one thing else I was mentioning before, when you come here as a teacher, one thing you need to try to get in the habit of doing is, as I mentioned in a video, is learning how, writing your learning objective and actually stating that when your success criteria, when you're teaching, that's something that you have to try to learn to do and get into let it be a routine for you in your class. They're really big on that. As a teacher in the classroom, that is expected of you to ensure that your students know what is it that you're teaching. What is it? What am I supposed to be learning, miss? And so you tell them. And that's what they also look for that. So for example, if you're doing an interview and they'll ask you the lot, that's another interview question that they'll ask you, tell me, take me through a lesson. Take me, if I come into your classroom, what would I see? Or they'll say, take me from the beginning to the end of a lesson. Right there, you basically would have to be teaching them. You're going into a lesson plan now that you have to tell them what would you do at the beginning to the end. So you're going directly. And one thing that they always look for and they're expecting is that you tell the students what they are going to be learning. So if you, for example, you just off the bat give them a topic that you're going to be teaching. For example, if you're teaching noun, your learning objective is at the end of the lesson, your students should be able to use nouns, write sentences with nouns. And then you have your success criteria, your success criteria is basically what the students, what are the skills that the students know are learning. All right. So the success criteria is what the students are able to do. Are they going to be writing, matching, labeling, drawing, etc. And you state it in a sentence as directly what the students are going to be doing. That is what you're going to be marking now, to see if the students know exactly what you're teaching. So you definitely have to start out by telling them that you inform the students, or they read it, you read it to them, and they also read it back to you, and then you get into your lesson with your lesson starter. How are you going to start your lesson? Are you going to start it with a question and answer, with a video, with a little song? You point those things out, and then you get into your lesson. How do you teach your lesson? Again, using a video. Suppose I'm teaching nouns, I could use a video to introduce my lesson on nouns. And then you go into the discussion of what is a noun, have your students come into the classroom, identify nouns in the class. How are your students involved? So you get your students involved in that lesson. And definitely they want to hear you talking about the students, not you, the teacher, talking, but your students talking, engaging, and doing. So they are labeling, they are writing, they are matching, they are identifying, they are working in groups, etc. Those are some things that you have to point out when explaining how you're teaching a lesson, etc. All right. Um, I'm just looking at some notes that I have, guys. Technology, classroom management, those are things that they will definitely. One thing I want to point out, the first thing I should probably have said when it comes on to interview, one of the first questions, even if you're teaching for 20, 15 years or more, the first question that I realize nowadays that the interviewers are asking is for you to introduce yourself. No, tell me about yourself. Introduce, who are you? And I get, by learning and researching, I have learned that it might look as a simple question for you to introduce yourself, a self-introductory, but it's actually they're not wanting you to say, oh, my name is Simone, I am 45. I'm not 45, I'm just saying I'm 45 years old, I'm from Jamaica, I've been in UAE for 70 years, I have a son, I love to travel, I love to eat, I love to cook. No, they don't want those personal stuff. I have learned that they've moved away from those. I used to answer questions in that way, but then I've learned and I realized that no, that question, they want to hear you. What are you? Who are you as a teacher? What are you going to be doing in the classroom? So this is where you introduce yourself by, yes, your name, and also telling them your qualifications, like my name is Simone Stewart. I have a bachelor's degree in education, and after several years, what should I say, a word, matriculated to or you have advanced into what you call it, my master's degree. I've been teaching for 14 years, 7 of which in my home country and 7 in United Arab Emirates, where I've taught grades, at the elementary school. And you just speak about teaching in general, what you have done in school and how you apply yourself as a teacher in the classroom. Make it short and make it precise. And that's how you basically introduce yourself. Tell them a short synopsis, and you can include a teaching philosophy, or what you do as a teacher in the classroom, what you love to do, and what you like to see in the classroom as a teacher. All right, I'll just highlight highlight that. Okay, and assessment. How do you evaluate or assess your children, or what type of assessment tools do you use? No, this is a question that relates to how you test your students, and they definitely don't want to hear about a regular chalk and talk or paper pencil test, but observation. You assess your students continuously during a lesson, and that's definitely questioning and answering, because like, how do you know that your students are actually learning what you're teaching? You have to ask them, you have to probe them. And you also, you can mention different testing tools that you have used. I don't know, depending on your area where you work, what are some of the things? You have Google Classroom. Google Classroom have testing, Google, what's it called? Um, those the on Google and even on Teams, they have different ways to test your students. You just set up the exam and you give the students use some form of technological device to test your children. Socrative, all different ways, but to be in the international classroom and to use those things is basically what your school is, the different things that your school employs. As a teacher, if you don't know about it, you just don't know about it. And they always mention that you're willing to learn. You talk about what you know of, and what you've used, and make mention that you've heard of this and that. And if they even ask you about it and you don't know about it, it's okay. Tell them that you've never used it before, but you have heard about it, and you are very open, and you're ready to learn, and you're ready to use it as a tool in your classroom. All right. Um, so guys, those are some little things that you can bear in mind. There are so many more, and so I I must also say they always tell you to take you through a lesson, a good lesson, and tell them why do you consider that to be a good lesson or a bad lesson? Have you ever had an experience with a bad lesson? Because definitely, and never you say that you've never had a bad lesson before, because there is no way you can be a teacher and never teach and you felt frustrated, or you felt that, oh my God, this lesson was the worst. And we all know when we have a bad lesson, the students are, they don't get it, or they're rowdy. They're rowdy and they're miserable. They're talking. They're doing all kind of things because they just simply don't understand what you're doing. Because there are times when you might be teaching a topic and you plan it in a way, but that way that you plan it and their execution it just didn't get the students. So you know when a lesson is going bad, and what you're gonna do to change that, you definitely know that you have to rewind and come again. You have to re-strategize. You have to do a further research to find out how you can reteach that lesson, because if it didn't go well, you definitely have to reteach it in order for the students to understand that particular topic that you because it's a must, they need to learn it. So you have to reteach it, and you have to reteach it in a different way now. So you have to find another way to get them more engaged, more involved, to get that lesson more exciting and fun for them, and easy for them to understand and be engaged. All right. Um, yeah, and another question, I'll do this last one, is, this last question that they'll tend to also ask you is, what would they see when they enter your classroom? And this is where you bring, the environment in, talk about the students in your classroom being engaged, because as long as you're teaching, and if they walk in your classroom and your students are sitting, either working in groups depending on the topic, what would you see? You'll come in my class, you'll see my students sitting and working either in groups or individually, or you'll see me teaching and teaching or working with my students, whether individually too or in group. As long as they enter your classroom and your students are actively engaged in you and your students in teaching and learning. They don't see students running all over the place, students standing, and it's a mess. As long as there's not chaos and the students are, being taught, and your displays, your learning objective is being displayed, and the success criteria, it's on the board, because when they enter, they want to know what the students, and they're going to be looking, because that's something in UAE too, that it must be displayed throughout the entire lesson. So when you're finished, you change it. If you finish the English, you change the maths, and it should be there for the entire lesson, because your students, you need to know now, did the students meet these criteria? And so you have to go back to them, ask them questions, and to see if they are able. And in marking their book also, you would know if they had meet those criterias. Now, guys, I've been here for, what is this now? 1.5 hours. Now, if there's not any more, if there are no more questions for more, I would say thank you guys so much for joining my live today. And as I said before, anything that you would like to know, you want to ask me, you can check it out. You can find me on Instagram, or also you can send me a message on my Facebook. I always answer. And even if you ask me here on my YouTube channel, it's not a problem. I'll definitely answer you accordingly. As long as I can, I will answer you as best as possible, or advise you based on my personal knowledge. Now, remember, guys, everybody is different, and we all have our own experiences. And what I go through, someone else will probably not go through that. And so we might share different views, because our experiences are different. All right. I can tell you something, but it's not set in stone. When in regards to certain things, you can go ahead and do your own research and ask other persons. It's okay to ask other people for their opinions in regards to certain topics. Okay. So if there's no more questions, I will say to you guys, thank you once more for being here. I really do appreciate. Don't forget, give this video, give the live a thumbs up, people, please. Click the like button to give the video a thumbs up. Click the thumbs up button, please. Like this video. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, my dear. So I'll see you guys another time. I'll see how many lives I can do through this holiday. But keep us all prayed up and good luck on your journey. Whosoever is on holiday, keep enjoying your holiday. And it's almost that time. So keep safe and get yourself ready for the upcoming school year. And if you're looking job, don't give up. Keep on looking. Your job, your dream job is out there. Don't give up. Keep pressing and keep praying until you get that desired job. All right. So until next time, this is Simone Stewart signing out. All right. I will see you all next time. Bye. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tarina. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Maisha. Thank you so much, Maisha. Um, Future. Thank you, guys. Okay, bye. I think I'm gonna wait until. Thanks, Leighton. I don't want to end the live with persons on it, but I don't know. Bye. Okay, I'm going to end it.